Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash and I'm your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now, at this time of year, I frequently get a question from a gentleman who is looking to up his game. Maybe he's at a turning point in life. He's gone from being a young fellow and now he sees himself as being a little more mature, and he's interested in changing up his traditional outfit. You know, maybe he's casual dresser, sneakers, that sort of thing, and he's moving into something which is still very casual, but smacks of more maturity and more of the element of the intentionally well-dressed man. And that's exactly what I'm going to do today. I'm going to answer a question from a viewer who's written in and offer some support. So this is the question from Dean. Do you think you could put together enough content for a casual autumn chap video? I am 41 and in pretty good shape, so I still own a few plain coloured t-shirts. However, I no longer own or wear trainers. Well, good for you, sir. I think it's when one reaches your 40s, it's probably a good time, unless you're running, to be, leaving trainers for the younger folks. I would like to see how you potentially put together a few different options for less formal attire, even though I know it's not your preferred preference. So, what I'm getting from Dean there is the question, how does a gentleman of 41 who is reaching the early stages of midlife, how do you dress in a casual way, yet still maintain the prestige which a midlife gentleman should have hanging around him? And so what I've decided to do, I'm going to give you two answers here. I've curated two outfits. One which I would say, and I've option one, rather casual. Option two, somewhat smarter. And that's how I've titled them, all right? So I'm just going to run through from top to bottom how I would attire myself. I'm not necessarily saying this is what I wear. Well, actually, a lot of it is what I wear. But similarly, this is something which I was kitting, if I was kitting myself out right now and I wanted something to wear in the autumn, smart yet casual, for a man of 41, this is what I would wear. So footwear. Now for me, you're saying that trainers are something in your past. I get that. They are perhaps a young person's game. And as one gets older, we start to realize, do we not, that there is so much wonderful footwear out there that trainers actually have been hogging our foot wearing time for far too long. So for me, for rather casual, instead of trainers, I would very much go for a suede chukka boot. Now, I'm not going to say a desert boot. There are many different styles out there. Desert boot tends to mean that you've got something like a crepe sole on there. But for me, and I've picked one out specifically, which I would choose. And it's a brand which is often overlooked, even though it's one of the best Northampton heritage brands, and that's Sanders & Sanders, or normally referred to as just Sanders. I've owned quite a few pairs of their shoes and boots. I've got quite a number of their Oxfords, which are very well put together. They do contract to the armed forces for high quality footwear, but also their desert boots, their casual footwear, I think is the equal of some of the more well-known brands, yet they come in slightly less expensively because they don't have that prestige, they don't have the retail outlets on Jermyn Street, which they have to fund with, a tiny proportion of the price of each pair of shoes is paying for those experiences. So with Sanders, I think you get more of a genuinely great price on the footwear. And I've chosen a pair, actually. I would go for the Sanders Chesham, which is a suede chukka boot. They come in a variety of colours. Autumn, for me, when it comes to footwear, we're not looking at crepe or we're not looking at leather soles. Now at this time of year, we're looking at something a little more robust. So I've gone for a day-night style sole, which is, you'll be familiar with the sort of rubber studded underneath. These are perfect for me, quite low profile, so you can wear them in any situation, but they're good in the outdoors. They're Goodyear welted, so what you're getting is a pair of boots which has the potential to be repaired numerous times, so it can be with you literally for 20 years and beyond. I've got Goodyear welted shoes and boots in my collection now, which I've had for over 25 years, and they are going to be with me quite some time into the future. They've got a full leather lining, so not like many desert style boots or suede boots which are not lined. designed for the summer. A full leather lining means they're very comfortable and they're very practical in the cooler time of year. So very good all round. £325, but as ever, you know, it's the fool who plays the full price. You're always going to find them on a deal. There'll be some sort of discount if you sign up to the newsletter, or first time purchaser, you'll get 20% off. You've got to go for the juggler when it comes to buying these heritage brands, because there's always some sort of special offer available. But for me, I really like the colours available. They've got like lovely browns and various other colours. So whatever your preference is, this is a great pair of boots that you can wear casually. They're so much better than trainers. You can wear them with so many, much more broad depth of your wardrobe as well. But for casual, this is what a man needs. Now, when it comes to the trousers, you've got a lot of options. 41, you're in the prime of life, all right? You can still get away with jeans, let's be honest, denim jeans. But make it a dark denim, because it's very flexible, very wearable, yet it still keeps you in touch with the younger generation, because at 41, you're only just entering the midlife stage, all right? They say it's between 40 and 65, which is midlife. So you're still very much towards the younger element. Go with that dark denim, straight cut, very simple, elegant jeans, which are going to look pretty good on anyone. But if you want to go a little more traditional, which is my leaning, I stopped wearing jeans when I was around about 45, to be honest. It's a young man's game, really. I wanted to look more mature, so I was dressing more maturely, and I went for chinos, right? There's all different types, different weights of chino, heavyweight, lightweight. They'll all, you know, there's different names for these sort of things, cavalry twill and so on. But it's basically a more practical, rugged, daily wearing trouser. That's what a chino trouser is. If I was going to pick one today, I would go to Cordings of London, where for £125, again, you know, that's the full up price. You'll always get discounts. You should be paying a lot less than their full up price. You get a fantastic pair of chinos, which are practical, which are elegant, which are stylish, which suit the gentleman. You know, because they are cut in a way which a gentleman would wear them. They're not tight to the leg. They're a nice fit. That's something you can wear casually, yet actually you can press it into service for more formal attire should you wish to do so. Moving on to the upper half of the body. Now this is, of course, in autumn, where there's a lot of variety and option available to you, because we are still living, certainly in the UK here, where we're getting quite a variety of temperatures. You know, 5 degrees Celsius this morning, up to probably in the 20s later this afternoon when the sun comes up, and it's fully up there. So you want layers, really, that you can strip off as the day unfolds and the temperature changes. Now, you talk about wearing t-shirts. I'm wearing a t-shirt. Let me just show you. Under, as long as I'm not damaging moving my mic around, I'm wearing a t-shirt under my other garments, and it's a great layering option. And if I'm working at home this afternoon, I can strip the old jacket off, work at my desk quite happily. So don't rule out t-shirts just because the years are passing you. I mean, I would say I wouldn't go out and about wearing a t-shirt as my outer garment, you know, the only garment I wear. But if I'm layering, t-shirt's fine. And it gives you that extra layer of warmth as well. But make sure you get good quality, nice bit of cotton against the skin, comfortable, looks good. And that, you know, ordinarily you'd see the t-shirt, I'm wearing a scarf, but, you know, it adds depth of colour and interest to your items as well. Equally, you could wear a polo shirt, but don't forget, this is my rather casual outfit that I'm wearing right now, messing around in the woods. This is kind of what I'm recommending. And I'm staying roughly with where I am attired right now as my next choice, because for me, the autumn is when the utility jacket comes into its own. Now, the utility jacket can be anything. This is, you know, a chore jacket. It can be a utility jacket. You know, there's all sorts of different names we give these things. But essentially, it is an unstructured jacket which normally has buttons up the front, which will often have utility pockets, and is a practical garment that you can throw on. Now, I guess the alternative for the younger fellow would be a sweatshirt or a hoodie or something like that. But what we are getting is we're getting a collar, we're getting inset shoulders opposed to raglan shoulders, which give you the slopey shoulder look when you're wearing a sweatshirt. Inset shoulders give you a bit more of a silhouette. The buttons with a placket down the front, they give definition to your outfit. There are so many different types of utility jacket out there. The one I'm actually wearing is my all-time favourite. It is the Carver jacket, which is produced by a British company called And Sons. They do a great range of sort of stylish workwear, modern sort of workwear or retro stuff. There are so many brands out there doing the same thing. You know, Carhartt, all of them. They're very well known. They all provide some form of utility jacket, which is quite stylish, quite hipster and trendy, one would say, and it's something you can wear at any stage of life. And it's certainly more stylish than the hoodie. So certainly something to go down that route. And of course, all different colours. I actually think olive green is a very valuable colour because it pretty much goes with everything. And you'll hear olive green coming up again in my option 2. But yeah, something like that, something like a utility jacket. Remember, we're very much in the rather casual option here. Outer layer, if on a wet or cooler day, I'm going to go Barber. Right, Barber Beaufort is my jacket of choice. Love them, look good, very practical, all you need. And then the accessories. For me in the autumn, it's when the hats come out. A flat cap, tweed flat cap, woolen flat cap, allows you to get a bit of plaid, bit of pattern, bit of tartan, whatever you want to put on there. Looks good, and obviously sets off the outfit. Accessories, scarf, right? This is a linen scarf. I bought this actually when I was on holiday in Malta to accessorize my summer outfit. But I'm pushing it over into autumn before I switch over to my woolen scarves. And it just adds interest to my outfit. You know, it fills that area around the neck at the same time as keeping me rather warm. And this time of year as well, it's when the gloves come into play. And for me, an unlined leather glove is perfect for autumn because it keeps your hands warm, free from the wind, and still retains maximum dexterity. For many, many years, I've touted these guys. They probably don't know I exist, and they keep wondering why lots of these gloves keep selling every time I mention them, probably. But there's a brand called Southcombe Gloves, family-owned company from Somerset in England. They hand make gloves, and they make in their military collection an army officer's glove in a brown colour. They make it in black as well, but I rather like their brown. They are unlined, they fit snugly to the hand, they give you lots of dexterity, everything you need from a glove in autumn, and they're not terribly expensive. They're under £50, or they were last year when I bought a new black pair. But they are a great glove which will be wearable across quite a variety of your clothing. Okay, let's move on to my somewhat smarter choice, which is maybe more flexibility in the autumn from the clothing that you buy. And I'm going to start at the ground level as well. And I'm changing this time from that sort of quite casual chukka boot, which, although I say casual, can be worn quite broadly. Now I'm moving into a brogue dress boot, because that is the ultimate country boot. And for me, it provides the structure, the protection that I want in the autumn. Now for me, there's only one brand when you talk about country boots, and it's going to be Trickers. It's one of the best traditional heritage companies from Northampton in England. They hold the royal warrant. They make the country footwear for the king. And I've been fortunate enough to visit their factory and see their boots being made. I've owned their boots now for a few years. And if it was me, and I was looking for a country boot, it would be probably the Trickers Stow, which is a traditional classic full brogue boot, derby style boot, which comes in a variety of different colours, different leathers. You can have kudu, you can have normal leather, and all different colours, wherever takes your fancy. The classic, of course, is the antique acorn colour, which Trickers make. They come with a different variety of soles as well. You can have leather, you can have day-night, but certainly that is the country boot. My boot of choice actually is not the Stow. I wear the Malton, which is like the Stow but with a commando sole and made of sea shade leather, which is a thicker, more robust leather, which is made from the hides of mature bull animals. So you get cattle, so you get much stronger. They're almost like a work boot, but they're a great old pair of boots. They're a shade under £600, but literally that is a boot that'll last you for the rest of your life. But certainly the Stow or the Malton, perfect for the autumn. And that's a proper outdoor boot as well. I wear them up here in the woodland, and it's like water off a duck's back. It's what they're made to do. Now moving up the body, trousers. I'm going to go a shade smarter than the chino this time, and I'm going for a moleskin. Now moleskin, often overlooked, it's kind of a a more sexy chino in many ways. It's kind of the same cut trousers, but it is just, it's cotton, but the cotton finished in such a way that it's almost got like a velvety, silken feel to it. It's warmer, and it certainly has a little more class to it, I think personally. And I would stay with Cordings, the brand, all right, the company. They're moleskin trousers, around about the same price as the chino, around about 125. But the moleskin, it has all of the qualities that you expect in a higher standard of trouser. So you get side tabs, so you can adjust the waist size without even having to wear a belt, should you wish to do that. The moleskins, they all come, I think it's with a 37-inch unfinished leg. So they make the assumption that you're going to have this trouser tailored to your exact proportions, not make do with, you know, a 29-inch leg or a 31-inch leg. You're going to be able to get this sized exactly to your size. So they give it to you with a 37-inch leg, unfinished at the end, so you can have it hemmed to your exact requirements. And I love that little attention to detail. And of course, they come in a vast variety of colours as well, so whatever takes your fancy. Now, moving up the body, the upper half, again, as I say, it's all about the layering this time of year. So t-shirt with a utility jacket is what I said in the rather casual, but now in the somewhat smarter category, we're moving into the more traditional shirts. Now, I would go for a Tattersall shirt. Now, Tattersall is, again, cotton. Cotton is featuring a lot in our autumn outfits, but it's a cotton which is premium cotton, finished in such a way, it's kind of a flannelly feel to it. You feel that snuggly bit of warmth. There's more insulation because that sort of thicker nap on the cotton means it captures more air, and that insulating layer against your skin is what keeps you warmer. Now, Tattersall, if I remember rightly, it's inspired by Newmarket blankets from the 1900s. So that's the sort of large window pane or tartan style finish that they often come in, but they come in a variety of different colours. And I'm going to stick with Cordings because I was in Cordings just last week in London, and I just absolutely adored their Tattersall shirts, So go with them because layered, you can wear them with a tie, you can wear them open collared, you can wear them under a utility jacket, you can wear them on their own. Very, very practical, flexible and warm in the autumn as well, and it'll carry you through to the winter. Now, in my somewhat smarter option here, this is where it becomes somewhat smarter. Now, the utility jacket is fine, but it's definitely not something you would wear out to a restaurant with friends, all right, because it's just not smart enough. But there is a jacket which I have talked about in a previous video on this channel, and I admired one in Cordings last week, and that's why I'm staying with Cordings. I'm not advertising Cordings in any way, incidentally, but they are just one of my favourite retail outlets to buy things, and that is the Tiber jacket. Now, the Tiber jacket is an old hunting field jacket, really, which goes back, I can't tell you the history of it, I forget now, but it is essentially a kind of smarter utility jacket, origins as a hunting jacket, which has a few key features which makes it a Tiber jacket. But at first glance, you might think it's just a slightly unusual tweed jacket or, you know, woolen jacket that a gentleman might wear in a country environment. But the Tiber jacket has some specific qualities, which I will mention. So for a start, they normally have 4 buttons down the front, whereas most jackets these days, you know, if you're talking a tweed jacket, contemporary style, you'll have 2 buttons, 3 at the most. Tiber, 4 buttons. You'll also have large patch pockets. These are just typically, you know, traditionally, I guess, where you throw your shotgun cartridges or your bits and pieces. There'll be a pocket to the breast, 2 around the waist. But the big sort of identifying feature with the Tiber jacket is the collar lapel arrangement, because you don't have a notch lapel. It's not a shawl lapel. It's kind of a combination of both. It's the Tiber lapel collar, where it is all one big collar, but it is distinctly identifiable as a Tiber jacket, and that's where you'll notice the Tiber jacket straight away in the collar lapel arrangement. And the beauty of that is, if you're out on a day where it turns a bit chilly, it has the ability to be buttoned at the throat, and it switches from looking almost like a quite smart tweedy style jacket to actually being a field utility jacket in the use of just 1 button. That's why I really like it. They've got one in Cordings at the moment. They're about £425, but again, go for the juggler, get the prices right down. 100% wool. The one I was looking at had what they call a bracken colour, which is a kind of tweedy, earthen tones, which I think looks fantastic. It's the sort of thing which is very, very wearable. This is something you could so easily wear with the jeans, with the chinos, with the moleskins. It's going to be comfortable across your whole wardrobe. It's something you could wear out literally on a stormy day when you're going out shooting with your mates, or if you're going to a smart restaurant in the afternoon. It has the ability to walk that tightrope. And in my somewhat smarter section, I'm just going to lean on exactly what I said as my accessories for the first outfit. So yeah, a Barber jacket, you know, a wax cotton jacket. I'm going to go with the Beaufort, very utility style. That's going to work with this as well, as is your flat cap, as is your gloves and your scarf, right? Same accessories, same sort of outer shell is going to work with both of these. The big delineating feature that we have here is that we're not wearing a utility jacket. With the somewhat smarter, we're going for the Tiber jacket. Now, I'd love to get a Tiber jacket into my collection. Truth is, I've been looking to buy one for about 3 years, but I'm not really at a point where I want to spend £425 for something. I've been searching the market to get one a little bit cheaper, but to be honest, looking in the window at Cordings the other week, it was very, very attractive. Could easily draw me in. We'll see what happens, see if I can get one this year. So, there we go. I hope that was all that we needed there for Dean, and that's given you some ideas for the winter season. So there we go, gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, don't forget to like the video, press that thumbs up button, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos just like this. And please, by all means, ask me a question yourself, just like Dean. Drop it into the comments section, or preferably, send me an email. I get all the emails, I read them all myself, no judgment. And if I can, I'll assist you with a future video, or even just respond back to you in person if that's what you would prefer. And never forget, you can join me on this journey by becoming one of my patrons. Don't forget also, there are free tiers to my patron membership, so you don't have to pay to be a patron. You will find the link to my patron pages in the description box below this video, and you will benefit from the additional exclusive videos I make for my patrons every single week. So, until the next time we meet, take care, and I'll see you soon.